found out my wife was cheating while she was visiting her mom. Hi, I guess I'm just looking for someone to talk to. My story might be long, but I need to get it all out. I've been with my wife Denise for 28 years, married for 25. I'm 54 and she's 49. We have two wonderful kids, our son Mark, who's 21, and our daughter Sandra, who's 18. Both are in college now, and we've been pretty proud of the life we built. Denise and I met in college. She was a bright-eyed art student, and I was studying business. We hit it off right away. After graduation, we got married and started our life together. We struggled at first, like most young couples do, but we made it work. I started my own small business, and Denise worked as an art teacher at the local high school. Our marriage wasn't perfect, whose is? We had our fights and rough patches. About 10 years into our marriage, I found out Denise had a one-night stand with a coworker during a school conference when I was home with the sick Mark. She came clean about it right away, crying and begging for forgiveness. It was hard, but we worked through it. We went to counseling, and I eventually forgave her. People make mistakes, right? I have to say, a lot of men will do this if their marriage has lasted this long. Over time, our relationship healed. We focused on raising our kids and building our future. I thought we were happy. Sure, the passion wasn't always what it used to be, but after 25 years of marriage, that's normal. We still had date nights, took vacations together, and generally enjoyed each other's company. At least that's what I thought. Last month, Denise told me she needed to visit her mom in Florida. Her mom is getting older. She's 78 now, and Denise was worried about her living alone. Denise planned to stay for 2 weeks to help her mom organize her house and maybe talk about future living arrangements. I encouraged her to go, thinking it was the right thing to do. While she was gone, something strange happened. I got a call from our insurance company about an unpaid medical bill that somehow slipped through the cracks. Doing an audit of old claims and found this one had been properly processed. They needed to verify some information before they could clear it up. The customer service rep started reading off details of the bill, the date, the doctor's name, and the treatment provided. I froze when I heard what it was for. A prescription for an antibiotic commonly used to treat chlamydia. The appointment had been at a clinic in the next town over, not with our regular doctor. I thought to myself, what the fuck? I've never had an STI in my life. Now that's a major red flag that popped up out of nowhere. I've never been unfaithful to Denise. The only way she could have gotten an STI was if someone had given it to her, someone who wasn't me. I thanked the insurance rep and told them I'd call back. My mind was racing. What was happening in our lives then? That's when I remembered Denise's art workshops. She started taking weekend art workshops in the next town over, the same town where the clinic was located. She'd go once a month, sometimes twice. I supported her, thinking she was pursuing her passion for painting. I started digging through our home office, looking for any clues. In the back of Denise's art supply cabinet, I found an old sketchbook from that time. As I flipped through it, a small paper fell out, a prescription receipt from that same clinic, dated the same day as the insurance claim. The doctor had scribbled, "Take all as directed" on it. My heart was pounding. This wasn't a mistake or a billing error. Denise had actually been treated for an STI about a year ago, and she never told me about it. We'd been intimate during that time. She'd never suggested I get tested. What did that mean? I spent the next few days in a daze, trying to remember everything I could at that time in our lives. Back then, our daughter Sandra was having problems in school. She was struggling with math and being bullied. Denise and I were arguing a lot about how to handle it. I thought we were just stressed parents trying to do our best. Then I remembered something else. My best friend Dave had been coming over a lot during that period. He and his wife Karen were having their own problems, and he often stopped by for a beer and to talk. Sometimes he would come over when I wasn't home just to help Denise with house projects or computer issues. I never thought anything of it. Dave was my best friend since high school, the best man at our wedding, godfather to our son. I decided to check our old family photos from that time. We keep digital albums organized by year, and I started going through them from about 5 years ago. There were several barbecues and pool parties where Dave was present. In many of the photos, he and Denise were standing close together, sometimes with his hand on her back or shoulder. Nothing inappropriate, but looking at them now with suspicion, I noticed something about their body language. Then I found something odd. Several weekends when Denise was supposedly at her art workshops, there were photos Dave had posted on social media of being out of town on business in the same area. The dates matched perfectly with Denise's workshops. Once could be coincidence, but 6 times? Nope, 6 times is not a coincidence. I couldn't shake another terrible thought. What if Mark wasn't biologically mine? Our son was born many years before this, when Denise and Dave were already friends. What if they had been involved earlier? Or what if this wasn't the first time Denise had been unfaithful? I ordered a DNA test kit online. When it arrived, I swabbed my cheek and found one of Mark's old toothbrushes in his bathroom drawer. Don't know if DNA would last that long, but I read somewhere that depending on the environment, DNA could last for months or up to years. He left it behind when he went to college. I sent the samples off. While waiting for Denise to come home and for the DNA results, I continued investigating. I reached out to Karen, Dave's wife, just to catch up. Without raising suspicion, I asked about what their family was doing about 2 years ago. She mentioned that Dave used to go on frequent business trips and workshops for his job. I never heard about these from Dave, despite us supposedly being best friends. It was a really tough time for us, Karen confided. Dave was distant, always on his phone, staying late at work. I actually thought he might be having an affair, but I never found any proof. That conversation only confirmed my fears. Everything was pointing to Denise and Dave having an affair a few years ago, probably right around 2 years ago, right under my nose. When Denise finally came home from her mom's, she acted completely normal. She talked about her mom, showed me pictures, and brought home cookies her mom had baked. She had no idea that I knew her secret. That night, as we got ready for bed, she asked why I seemed distant. I almost broke down and confronted her, but something held me back. The DNA test results hadn't come back yet, and I wanted all the facts before making any decisions. A week after Denise returned home, the DNA test results arrived by email in secure PDF format. I was at work when I got the notification. My hand shook as I opened the email, terrified of what I might find. The results showed that Mark was definitely my biological son. The relief I felt was overwhelming. No matter what happened between Denise and Dave, at least my son was truly mine. That same day, I received another call from the insurance company. They had more questions about the medical claim. This time, they mentioned that the antibiotics had been prescribed for both Denise and another patient who had been seen at the same time. This other person had used our insurance as well, listed as a family member. I asked for the name, and the representative apologized. He indicated he couldn't give me that information. This person had been on our insurance briefly years ago when he was between jobs. I'd forgotten all about it. This was a smoking gun. Denise and Dave had gone to the clinic together, both been treated for the same STI, and used our family insurance to pay for it. There was no incident explanation for that. That night, I decided it was time to confront Denise. The kids were both away at college, so we had the house to ourselves. After dinner, I asked her to sit down in the living room. I could tell by her face that she knew something serious was coming. Denise, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Did you have an affair with Dave? Well, she was definitely surprised by that question. She opened her mouth, then closed it, then opened it again. What? Why would you ask that? She stuttered. I placed the insurance documents and the old prescription receipt on the coffee table between us. I got a call about an unpaid medical bill from a couple of years ago for treatment of chlamydia for both you and Dave. Denise started crying immediately. She admitted to the affair, saying it had started at a neighborhood barbecue when they both had too much to drink and ended up alone in our garage looking for more ice. It was just supposed to be one time, but then it kept happening. I asked how long it had gone on. She claimed it lasted only 6 months, but when I confronted her with the timeline of her workshops and Dave's business trips, she broke down completely. It was about 2 years, she finally admitted. Those art workshops were just an excuse. Sometimes I did actually take classes, but most of the time I met Dave at a hotel. 2 years? I repeated, feeling numb. You lied to me every day for 2 years? Denise begged me to understand. She claimed she'd been unhappy back then, feeling unappreciated and overwhelmed with the kids and her job. Dave had made her feel special, she said. They'd ended things when he got offered a job in another state 3 years ago. Have you been in contact with him since he moved? I asked. She hesitated, which told me everything I needed to know. Just a few texts here and there, she admitted. Nothing physical has happened since he moved away. I asked if she'd ever planned to tell me. She shook her head no. She thought it was better to protect me from the pain, she said. Better for the family. You were not protecting me, I told her. You were protecting yourself. What about the STI? You never told me, never suggested I get tested. You put my health at risk. This is why I advocate severing ties with someone who puts your health at risk when they cheat on you. She claimed they'd used protection most of the time, but had slipped up once. When they both developed symptoms, they panicked and went to a clinic together. She swore she hadn't been intimate with me until after she'd completed the antibiotics and was cured. That doesn't make it better. You should have told me. The next day I called Dave. He didn't answer, so I left a voicemail telling him I knew everything and that our friendship was over. Then I called his wife, Karen. She deserved to know the truth too. Karen was devastated. She had suspected something years ago, but had convinced herself she was being paranoid. We talked for hours, both of us trying to make sense of how the people we loved could betray us so completely. She told me she was going to confront Dave that night. Back at home, Denise was a mess. She called in sick to work and spent the day crying in our bedroom. When I told her I'd spoken to Karen, she panicked. Why would you do that? She cried. You've ruined their marriage. I didn't ruin anything. You and Dave did that all on your own. For the next few weeks, our house felt like a war zone. Denise begged for forgiveness, promising to do anything to save our marriage. She offered to go to counseling, to give me access to all her accounts and devices, to quit her job if it would help. She said she loved me and only me, that the affair had been the biggest mistake of her life. I moved into the guest bedroom, needing space to think. I talked to a lawyer about my options. I reached out to a therapist to help me process my feelings. I even called our kids to tell them their mom and I were having problems, though I didn't share the specific details. Dave tried calling me several times, leaving voicemails where he apologized and explained his side of things. I deleted them all without listening. Karen told me she kicked him out of their house and was filing for divorce. As the weeks passed, I had to decide whether to try to save my marriage or end it. Denise seemed genuinely remorseful. She started therapy on her own and joined a support group for people who had cheated on their spouses. She gave me full access to her phone, email, and social media accounts. Part of me wanted to try. We had 28 years together, 2 great kids, a life we'd built from nothing. Was I ready to throw it all that away? Yep, exactly my thought process. They have been together 28 years. He can't just walk away at the drop of a hat. Yes, he can. But then I remember the clinical visit, the STI, the 2 years of lies, the art workshops that never existed, the times I was home helping our daughter with her homework while Denise was with Dave, the moments I thought our marriage was strong when it was actually falling apart. In the end, the decision came down to one simple question. Could I ever trust her again? And the answer was no. 6 months after discovering the affair, I filed for divorce. Denise begged me to reconsider, but my mind was made up. I couldn't spend the rest of my life wondering if she was lying to me again. I deserved better than that. The divorce was final a month ago. Unfortunately, I didn't get away scot-free. We sold the house and had to split the equity down the middle. Our home was paid for. I am still adjusting to my new life. I bought a smaller house closer to my business. I talk to my kids regularly. They've been understanding, though I know it's been hard on them. Mark is graduating college next year, and Sandra is thriving in her sophomore year. They're the best things that came from my marriage. As for Denise, she got a new place about 30 minutes from where we used to live. She's dating someone new already, not Dave, someone from her art circle. Dave and Karen are also divorced. He moved back to our hometown, but I avoid any place he might be. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice. Marriage is about forgiveness after all. But then I remember that it's also about honesty and respect. Denise broke that trust, and once broken, some things can't be fixed. So here I am, starting over at 54. It's not where I expected to be at this point in my life, but despite everything, I am hopeful about the future. I'm learning who I am outside of my marriage. I'm rebuilding relationships with friends I neglected. I'm focusing on my business and my health. And most importantly, I'm finding peace with my decision. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from something that's hurting you, even when that's a part of you that still loves it. 28 years together reduced to ashes. When someone trades their family's future for temporary excitement, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.